So you've been thinking about moving to Albany, Oregon. Well, stay tuned because in this video, we're going to discuss 5 different things you should know before moving to Albany. Hey, I'm Tyler Thomas with eXp Realty. I'm a realtor here in the Albany area. I currently live in Albany and I grew up nearby in Philomath, so I know this area very well. In this video, I'm going to talk about the size of Albany, the location, the weather, the schools, and the overall cost of living. If you want to get a hold of me and ask any questions or see how I can help you move to this great area, go ahead and get a hold of me. You can find my information in the description below. You can also subscribe to my channel for more information on Albany and all the surrounding areas. So let's not waste any time, let's get to the video. And first up, we're going to talk about the overall size of Albany. Albany is actually the 11th largest city in all of Oregon with around 58,000 people. And that can seem pretty low depending on where you're coming from. Oregon has essentially maybe 4 cities that are kind of comparable to other states' really large cities. There's a whole lot that are between like 50,000 to 100,000. So our large cities might be quite different than where you might be coming from. Albany is definitely more of a rural area. It's pretty laid back overall. And it's got, for the most part, everything you need for day-to-day shopping and just activities. But also you're going to have other things nearby. We're at the mall, which right there we have Target, Old Navy, Ross's. We also got nearby Fred Meyer. We've got a Walmart. And you got things like Kohl's and Costco also. We're also apparently getting a Michael's soon, which people are actually pretty excited for. Albany, when compared to some of the other surrounding areas like Corvallis and Lebanon, has just generally more shopping. People will kind of come to Albany to do a lot of their shopping for like clothes and stuff. If you don't see things in town you want, people will pretty much go up to Salem, about a 35-minute drive up north, or going down to Eugene as well. And Albany doesn't necessarily have that like high-end shopping, high-end eateries. We got a few things kind of downtown you can call pretty much high-end, but for the most part, you can go to Salem or Eugene, which are your nearest larger cities, to get your fix of that. And it might not be that important to you, but it's definitely something to know. Albany is definitely still growing, so maybe we'll see some things coming in the future, but right now, there isn't a whole lot. Albany is definitely historically more known as a industrial city. You've got the Willamette, I-5, the railroad that go through town, and those all kind of helped build up Albany. The city was and is still kind of known as the hub, so that was one nickname that the city was given. We had a large paper mill in town, which has since been taken down. Also had a lot of manufacturing businesses in town, more along that eastern and more kind of a southern, southwest part of town. And then we've also got a rare metals company in town as well. Albany has definitely been putting in some newer homes as well recently in the southern section. Newer subdivision went in and about to do a new phase of that. Also in the northeast part of town, there's a new subdivision that's also about to go in. And there's been a lot of building also in North Albany. In North Albany on the Benton County side has also been seeing a lot of new building as well. Now hopefully with all the growth that's going on in North Albany, there's something going to be changed with the bridge situation to get to the rest of Albany, because the traffic that's caused by that, it sucks. And that's definitely something to think about when trying to move to North Albany. You got one grocery store up there, but when you're trying to come to the rest of Albany at different points a day, you're going to be dealing with a fair amount of traffic. Also, if you're coming home, 4 or 5 o'clock, you're going to be hitting a lot of traffic. Some days, for some reason, it's not that bad, but other days, you're sitting for quite a while. Next thing to know is the location. When talking about location, we can go about it in a few different ways. We're going to talk about the proximity to activities and kind of getting out and enjoying your day, as well as we're going to talk about commuting for work. Albany is located right around I-5 corridor, which is the main interstate for Oregon. Now from Oregon, you can head north on I-5, going through Salem and Portland. You can even go south through Eugene, heading also towards Medford. And Salem's just about, say, 30 minutes away. You also got Eugene, that's kind of about 45, 50 minutes away to the south. So you've got some good options there for commuting for work. So if Albany doesn't necessarily have exactly what you're looking for, not too far away, you're going to have options for work. Albany is actually a good central location for having just a lot of different options for you. Definitely one of the most popular commutes people have is living in Albany and then working in Corvallis. And a big thing of this is Albany is a lot cheaper than Corvallis, and it can be by a lot. Big draws for working in Corvallis can be things like HP as well as OSU. So a lot of people will live in Albany and then commute over to Corvallis. Now it's really only about a 20-minute drive depending upon where you live in town. If you're on the western part of Albany as well as North Albany, of course it's going to be a little bit quicker than say living on the eastern part of town. North Albany can definitely be one of the quickest. You've got Highway 20 right there, which is extremely quick, and you've actually got two ways to get from Albany to Corvallis. You've got Highway 20 as well as to the south you've got Highway 34. Depending on things like traffic as well as mentioning the bridge again, you can kind of look at the map when you're getting off work or even heading to work and see which route might actually be best for that day. Now, as far as location goes for getting out and just enjoying the day, even having a day trip, Albany is in a really great location. Now, say you want to go to the beach, you're really only about an hour, 15-minute drive away from Newport. You're about an hour, 15 drive away away from Portland and all the activities up there. And you're also going to have to the east, you're going to have the Cascade Mountain Range with all of its great hiking and skiing, snowboarding for the winter. There's a whole bunch of activities out there. And this location is definitely one of my favorite parts of living in Albany. I just have a lot of different places I can go really quickly. So if I'm looking to get out there and do some kayaking, I got Foster Lake not too far away. If I want to go to a Blazer game, Portland's not too far away. Going to the beach, do some rock hounding. That's always popular. Also, you're going to have things like going to a Beaver game in Corvallis. Also to Eugene, you've got the Ducks. So you've just got all sorts of things really close. Next up, we're going to talk about the weather in Albany. Now we've got what's called temperate rainforest-like conditions, and that's going to be pretty much west of the Cascades because those mountains are going to, for the most part, stop a lot of that rain and everything from getting east. And we definitely have a reputation of pretty much always being wet, and we've always got that kind of running joke that if you see someone walking around with an umbrella, then they're probably not from around here. And like most places during winter time, it's going to start getting dark around 4:35, so your days are going to start feeling just a little bit shorter. During the months of November to March are typically our wettest months. Sometimes it is not that bad. Other times it feels like it's never going to stop. And it can get a little bit old. We don't get a lot of snow, but when we do, it might be like an inch or two, a light dusting. We don't typically get like a whole bunch of snow. We're also not really equipped for even a lot of snow. So when things get, 2-3 inches, or if we get more, we're pretty much shutting down. Since we don't get a whole lot of snow, we don't necessarily have all the equipment and get ready for it. So things can get kind of sketchy out there pretty quick. These last 2 years we've actually had some pretty bad ice storms, which is abnormal. So, that kind of sucked. Took a long time to thaw out. Everyone was really trapped in their homes. I felt like for a pretty long time compared to past years. I've lived in this, Willamette Valley area my whole life. And I don't really remember anything like this. So it doesn't really happen all that often. So you don't got to worry about it all the time. Especially, like I said, it's really been this last couple years. But most time we can get away with like a couple inches of snow and get off pretty well. As far as summers go, temperatures are typically pretty comfortable. We're a lot of in the 70s, 80s, which isn't that bad. We do get up into the 90s. And even some 100-degree days, which is fairly abnormal for us. When it is in that upper 90s, hundreds, we're cooking. Us Oregonians, we're not always really built for that. But when we do get those temps, it's relatively short-lived. We don't get them very often. They don't span for a whole lot of time, so we'll get some hot temps. It'll get cooler, a bit cooler, say 80s, and then we're usually pretty happy. Next thing we're going to cover is schools. Now, Albany has 14 elementary schools. We've got 4 middle schools and 2 high schools. The high schools being West Albany and South Albany. And there's finally been some upgrades done the past couple years. The high schools had some pretty big renovations. We've also had 2 new schools go in on the northeast part of town, as well as a new school put in North Albany. When looking at the overall rankings, Albany does fare pretty well when compared to other nearby cities in the Willamette Valley. Of course, not everyone's going to agree with some of the grades and things, so what I'm going to do is leave the description for a lot of these rankings that I typically use in my videos, so you can go ahead and look them up for yourself, see where these grades come from, how they do them, and kind of see how Albany stacks up. And if you want to go a different route than public school, you've got different charter schools, private schools in the area. One of the most popular private school options is over in Adair Village with Santiam Christian. It's not too far of a drive away, so a lot of people will drive their kids that direction going to work, or they even have, I believe I see a bus also coming into town and transporting kids that direction as well. And if you're looking to take the next step in your education, right in town we've got a really good little community college in Lynn Benton Community College. And it is going to be the community college for both Lynn and Benton counties. It's a great little community college, and a lot of people from these surrounding areas will go to it. Now it's also really popular because it has what's called dual enrollment with Oregon State University. And there's certain classes you can definitely take at LB that cost quite a bit less than taking at OSU. So like prereqs and stuff, you can take at LB and then take your other classes over at OSU. I know a ton of people have done this. I grew up in the area, as I said, over in Philomath, a lot of classmates, a lot of friends that had this dual enrollment, and it worked out really well. And now we're going to look at the overall cost of living. I've actually done a whole video on the cost of living in Albany. It's a lot more of a in-depth analysis than what we're going to cover right now. So you can go ahead and check that video out if you're looking for a lot more information. I will, however, share that Albany, based upon some of the stats I get from bestplaces.net, which is a website I often use for stats, it gives Albany a overall score of 98.2 out of 100, 100 being the US average. And some of the things it takes into effect are things like your cost of housing, food, childcare, transportation, healthcare, taxes, and a whole lot of other necessities. So we are a whole 1.8% less than that US average. We're actually a whole 14.1% less than the Oregon average, so that's even better. So really, Albany is more of a kind of cost-effective area when compared to some other surrounding areas. So now we're going to take a quick look at how Albany fares when comparing ourselves to some of the neighboring cities with home prices. One of the biggest ones is the difference between Albany and Corvallis. The median home price between these two cities can definitely differ, and actually differ somewhere between 80 and 100,000. Which can seem pretty crazy, and it is. And it's definitely a reason, like I said earlier, why people will live in Albany and then commute over to Corvallis, because at least to me, it really makes sense to just have that slight commute and save yourself a lot of money. Now, Benton County, where Corvallis is located, is definitely more on the expensive side. Glenn County, where Albany is located, is quite a bit less. So you're going to have places like Albany and Lebanon being a lot cheaper than most of everywhere else in Benton County. Now, Salem, north of Albany, is definitely more equal in the median sales prices for homes when compared to Albany. These home prices are typically pretty close, and as well as most of the cities that are between Albany and Salem as well. There has been some movement on the prices these past month, so I'm going to go ahead and give the past 2 months median sales prices for these cities as an example. Corvallis, for September, the median sales price was $493,580. In August was $545,500. And it definitely more trends towards the upper range of that. It being under $500,000. Haven't really seen that in quite a while. So it's definitely more of that $530,000 to $550,000 range most of the time. Albany for September was $400,000. And for August, it was $436,875. So it's actually also fairly even between those ranges for month to month. Salem for September was $423,000, and August is $425,000. So it's actually pretty stable as well right now. And when looking at the prices of some of these homes, something that has to do with it is what's available in the market right now. Larger cities are just going to have more shopping and amenities and stuff. That can definitely be a big difference between, say, Salem and Albany. A big difference between Albany and Corvallis is really going to be OSU being there, as well as just the overall inventory of homes. Now, these home prices do change, and if you are wanting more updated information, you can go ahead and message me, and I'd love to get you the newest stats for the month that you are watching this video. And that's it. These are 5 different things that you should know and think about before deciding if Albany is right for you. If you want any more information on Albany, you can go ahead and send me a message. I'd be glad to help you decide if Albany fits your needs. And my information is in the description below. That said, my name is Howard Thomas. I'm a realtor at East Realty, and if you're looking to move to Albany and all surrounding areas, I'd be glad to be your resource for our real estate needs.